We got a lot of football to get into, and we are going to start with a word from Supply House. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting on projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Join the free Trademaster program today and score some serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That is supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service when you want. All right, guys, we got news on Saturday that Quinshon Judkins had signed his contract with the Cleveland Browns. He obviously did not play in Week 1. We are not sure yet if he'll play in Week 2. Kevin Stefanski, when asked about that, said literally, and I quote, "We'll see." So we'll find out later.
Big shocker that we can get an answer from Stefanski.
I know.
Yeah, about that.
The question I wanted to ask you guys.
Yeah.
And then I'll show you some numbers. I'll show you the numbers, then I'll ask the question.
Yeah.
The Browns averaged 2 yards a carry against Cincinnati. 24 carries, 49 yards total. If you look at the run blocking grades from PFF against Cincinnati, there were some guys who scored pretty well. The two guards, Antonio and Teller, both graded out.
Jeez. The rest is awful, though.
Pochich, not good. Cornelius Lucas, Jack Conklin, and DeJuan Jones, all sub 50. If you're in a run blocking grade sub 50, it is about as bad as you can get. DeJuan Jones was the second lowest run block grade in the NFL in terms of tackles in Week 1. So he's got to step it up in that category. So the question I wanted to ask, was the running issues and their inability to get yards on the ground against Cincinnati a result of suspect running back play in Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson, or was it issues on the offensive line that may take longer to correct? And then the caveat to that being, can Quinshon Judkins save both?
Time to start us off.
First of all, go Bucks. Quinshon, go Bucks. Anyways, no, I think that it's the offensive line. I've been saying that for the past couple of years now. I mean, when you look at Nick Chubb, the reason that Nick Chubb was so great is because he never let the first person tackle him. Oftentimes, that tackle was in the backfield, and he made that guy miss, or he just broke the tackle and then got the yard. So this offensive line has been overhyped, I should say, for quite some time now, and
you think it's all the offensive line? Like, you don't blame the running backs at all?
I think it's listen, I'm just telling you you and I had a floor for a second.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Jay. Anyways.
Whoa!
That's a shot.
I love it.
That was two.
That's a shot.
Anyways, no, I think that the offensive line, to me, in the run game, they haven't been dominant in years to me. Ever since before Nick Chubb's injury, I think that was like the last time we actually seen them actually look good. But again, I always say Nick Chubb made that offensive line look better than they actually were, because when you seen all these other running backs come in there, nobody really had – I mean, Jerome Ford ripped off a couple of runs here and there, but consistently our run game has not been good in years, and I'm not expecting them to just go – I know they're going back to Kevin's system, and that's fine and all, but I just don't think that our offensive line is what we thought they were, and it hasn't been for quite some time.
And we let them off the hook. Dusty, go ahead.
I mean, listen, it's one game. Those grades, I'm not, whatever. PFF, they've got their way to do their grades, and that is what it is. And we treat it as gospel, like, you know, a guy played like crap because of a grade. But, I mean, we're getting older on the offensive line. Like, those names are good names, especially Batonio and Teller and Conklin. The other guys are just kind of like, whatever. I mean, DeJuan Jones, that's a terrible grade if that's really how he played.
Yeah.
I'm not going to write him off after this one game. I mean, I'm hoping Judkins comes back and certainly helps out with what we have. I mean, we basically went into the season with two running backs, you know, who are pretty much unproven. I mean, Jerome Ford and a rookie. And now you're going to get another rookie in the mix who I think will perform better. Let's see what happens. I mean, the Ravens have a pretty good defense too, so it'll be a challenge this week. I mean, do you think the Bengals have a great run defense?
I do not.
Okay. Well, then that can be a little concerning then.
G. Bush.
Well.
What's this outfit we're wearing today?
Man, this is called root beer thoughts.
Root beer. Looks like a blueberry.
Root beer thoughts. You know what I'm saying? It's real frothy, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, dog. Yeah, but how I'm feeling with it is I'm more aligned with Tyvis, man. We've been talking about this the Cleveland Browns really haven't ran the ball well in 3 years. I think we kind of we live in memory lane, go down memory lane, and we remember this group because some of the guys are still there, with especially Teller and Batonio. We feel like we remember 2020 and 21. You know what I'm saying? Some of those years, 2019, when you had a prime Nick Chubb, you had Kareem Hunt, you had Dearness Johnson that was nice as well. You had a lot of those guys back then that was making the first guy miss. Go back and look at the PFF grades for Nick Chubb. When it comes to making the first guy miss, he was the best in the league. When it came to having people be able to stiff arm, do juke, whatever he needed to do, and on top of that, he could run by you. So some of the times where you saw Nick Chubb that would get 2 or 3 yards, he made it look great because he turned them 2-3 yards carries for everybody else into 60, 70-yard bursts, and he had the ability to take it to the house. So for me, I went and watched them specifically at training camp. They went back to the basics on a lot of their zone steps. It's a lot of their power steps, a lot of the double teams and getting it together. But the problem is this, man. When you got guys over the age of 30 with multiple injuries, take a look at Joe Batonio, who's thinking about retirement. Wyatt Teller's been injured for the most part of 3 years. Ethan Poach has been in and out injured. Jack Conklin has had some issues. When you start mixing that, I keep saying, I don't know nobody in they 10th, 11th year turn back the clock and all of a sudden get physical. It's like asking defensive backs to get some recovery speed. Nah, Darrelle Revis is year 30. Darrelle Revis is 86 on the Madden, and I'm talking speed. You can't just get that back. So, yeah, Judkins can help a little bit because you hope with his style of running, he can make guys miss and make it look a little better. But I didn't see much push up front against the Bengals, and the Bengals aren't really known for their defensive front.
Before you go, boy, McNuggets, can you give me can you find out what Kareem Hunt's average per carry was last season, and then what it was when he was with the Browns the year before?
I don't think his average per carry was very
I just
good.
wanted to know what it was.
Yeah. I don't remember it being very good, but I guess I could be wrong.
I'll give you all the numbers here. According to Pro Football Reference, Kareem Hunt in his final year in Cleveland had 135 carries for 411 yards.
That's not good.
That is where's the yards per carry?
It's less than 4.
It's 3 on the dot.
Okay. And what was it in Kansas City last season?
200 carries for 728 yards for 3.6 yards per attempt.
I mean, it's better, but it's still terrible.
No, I just wanted to know because with the Browns, he couldn't get nowhere. So I just wanted to know if Kansas City was it better.
So to me, it's clearly both are a problem. Now, we're going to find out for sure with Judkins because Judkins is the most talented back they've had since Nick Chubb was healthy, right? So if they'll look better with him because he'll make them look better, but he'll also be able to take advantage of some of the good work that they're doing. I think it's hard to group the whole offensive line together. I think Batonio, not just because of the grades, but Batonio and Teller have always been good run blockers, so I think they're fine there. I think the other positions are a question mark. Certainly, Poach did not have a good season last year. It kind of went under the radar. He didn't really play well. And as far as DeJuan, I mean, he's playing a new position. I know a lot of people don't see it that way, but he hasn't played left tackle very often.
But I feel like he's never been good at run blocking.
Okay, well,
as far as PFF goes, I feel like
that's true. But in addition, he's playing a new position.
Yeah,
and there's probably something to be said about he lost a lot of weight. I know he's still huge, but he lost a lot of weight. I wonder if there's some sort of adjustment he has to make, playing a little differently with a lesser weight. I don't know. It's a work in progress, but I think it'll look a lot better with Judkins. You can't give Jerome Ford a pass. That guy can't play.
I've been waiting to get rid of him for 2 years.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't giving him no type of pass at all. But waiting. I thought Sampson ran it pretty well.
There's a couple of things. I think Ethan Poachich.
Well, you're right about that.
I think Poachich and DeJuan Jones tend to play a little bit high. Now, mind you, they're 6'8". You know what I mean? Poachich is a really tall center. So
he's 6'8" also?
No. He's not 6'8". Dewan Jones 6'8",
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah,
Coaches
Dewan
is a really, really tall center.
He wouldn't be playing
And sometimes
center if
the
he was
pad
6'8".
level can be an issue. But also, I'll ask you guys, I don't see very many outside runs. I don't see the stretch. I don't see
Didn't do that at all.
The power
I didn't
play.
either.
I don't see any of the outside zone plays. They're running more duo inside stuff.
With the two
fast
scat
guys.
yeah, that makes no sense.
You know, I've always been perplexed by that a little bit. Maybe, they put a lot of stuff in Dustin for Quinshon because he's between the tackles.
You know why they did that? Because they got Shamar and Trey, so they was trying to probably hit it inside of them.
Right. That could have been a thing. And then DJ Reader, that was crazy. He used to kill the Browns doing that, but they probably felt like, you know what, let's isolate and see if they can keep Logan Wilson clean, because part of the responsibility is making sure he can be free. So they're like, all right, well, if we can gash him in the middle and then get him some guys to the next level on him, maybe we can get some run. But I just didn't see it. Now, I'll be surprised and interested to see what the game plan is this week in terms of the run game and what they would change.
Let me ask the three of you who said it was more on the O-line than the back. We know Nick Chubb was incredible. I think we're all in agreement we've seen enough out of Jerome Ford. If Judkins can play, how much of a difference does that make in covering up maybe some of the offensive line deficiencies?
I think it makes a huge difference.
You think it makes a huge
I
difference?
think it makes a huge difference. I think if he plays to at least what I think he's capable of, and I'm sure you guys are at least in the same ballpark I am, the great backs, if he is one, or the very good backs, can overcome some deficiencies on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Nick Chubb did it.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe that's asking a lot out of him for his first time.
Sure.
out there. Like I don't expect him to go out there and just drop 100 yards rushing. Like that's not gonna happen.
No, not if the offensive line is not playing well. But I expect more from him than I see. From Jerome
I mean, because
Ford.
he's one of those guys that break tackles and he has the tough run. So that has to show up, and it has to show up early for him. If the offensive line are going to grade like that, he's going to get hit in the backfield. He's got to make that guy miss. So
it's kind of. I told myself I wasn't gonna come on here and just get all into my bag yet, but I don't believe they have any offensive linemen after this year on contract. Is that correct?
Dewan Jones.
Dewan, that's it.
So, of the starters, yeah.
So
we got Luke Whippler, Zach Zinter, who was
this
inactive.
is obviously this is a veteran line, but as we project things forward, we always talk about we got all these picks, man, but you don't have any linemen under contract. You know what I'm saying? Guys that you've been, depending on, and a lot.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt the future of the offensive line at this moment is a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's a disaster because it's not that good right now. It's okay.
It's salvageable.
But you got 4 guys that are free agents, and one's going to retire.
What's our salary cap situation after this season?
It's not great.
Well, they just restructured
Denzel.
The reason they did that, Jason was right. I'm guessing Jason was right, is to have every penny you can roll over for cap space next year so you can address some of those
I gotta
issues.
think they would. If we assume Batonio retires,
Well, he is. He said he was.
right? I would think they'd at least try to re-sign one of those guys, either Teller.
You got Zach Zinter, who you took in the 3rd round. It's time to.
But
he got to play at some point.
I hear you, but you still need one of
just
those.
collecting the check?
You still
Because if he collecting the check, you could have gave it to me back when I was playing, and I would have just took it.
But you still need one other guard type.
I've seen
No,
more.
you got well, I guess Luke Whippler plays center, but he plays guard too.
I see more out of Whippler than I seen Zinter. I'm gonna be honest.
You could be looking at what if they re-sign?
Tevin Jenkins?
No. Wyatt Teller, and then you have Zinter and Teller.
How old is Teller?
He's not that old.
Gotta be 30.
I think he turns 30 this season.
Oh,
Not that old.
okay. He can
so you
ride,
could have
yeah.
Zinter and Teller. You could have Whippler at center. You have DeWanda left tackle, right tackle. I have no idea.
You got to use it in the draft.
Teller turns 31 this season.
Yeah,
He's
whatever.
30.
Guards can play into their early 30s.
But he's a physical guard.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't want to let.
This is a physical guard that gets hurt.
But don't you feel like you need one veteran in that line at least?
Luke has been here for.
I know, but he hasn't played.
True.
Whether it's Conklin or Teller, I'd re-sign one of those.
Let me see them PFF grades again on that run block. Who was
Teller was good.
Well, I had the different pass block stat too. You want to see the run block then the pass block?
Yeah.
Sure.
So let's start with 297, and these were the PFF run grades. Once again,
All right,
if you're
that's
just
a good
listening
grade by Teller.
for our
The two
podcast
tackles
listeners,
was terrible.
Batonio had a 78, Teller was a 75.5, Pochich was a 57, Cornelius Lucas, who came in for Jack
Funny
Conklin,
name, Cornelius.
had a 47.3. Conklin graded out at a 45.4, and DeWand had a 41.1. Now, when you look at the ESPN pass block win percentages, so this is, did they get beat or did they hold up in protection? Some guys graded very well, and other guys not so much. But Tonio and Pochich did not get beat. Those two, 100% pass block win rate in week 1.
What's considered a good number? I mean, it's got to be pretty high.
So DeWand and Conklin both gave up 6
That
pressures.
looks really low.
Yes,
83.
you want to be 95 and above is a good.
so
Anything
83 's
below
bad.
that.
The two
They
tackles.
both did not. And now Conklin did not play a ton, mind you. He had a smaller sample size.
Yeah.
But DeWan Jones got beat 6 times according to ESPN's pass block win rate percentage.
Didn't he have some holding too?
He did have a holding. It was
When
not a
did,
great first game for DeWan
When
Jones.
did Cornelius come in the game?
Second
Second quarter, yeah.
So he played as the starting right tackle from the second quarter to the rest of the game?
Yeah.
And it got a 97%?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
That run game,
Sheesh.
though. That run
Well,
game.
and that's a problem because I said back when we lost to Houston, said you can't keep having this man throw the ball 40 times a game. Then last year with Jameis, you can't keep having this dude throw the ball 40 times. Like
Yeah.
it's going, you're bound to throw interceptions. You talk
Yeah.
about taking care of the football. You're gonna throw an interception if you throw
Yeah.
the ball 40 times.
What's
We
interesting,
got to
though,
get the run game going at
They
some
were
point.
very balanced in the first half. It was 50-50 in the first half. And in the second half, they threw the ball the whole second half. They didn't stick with the run. I know they weren't effective, but sometimes you got to stick with it.
Remember,
All you need to do is crease it one time.
Remember what I said? I said, people looked at me like I was crazy. I said, man, their best chance to win is you don't have to throw this football with Joe Flacco. And I said, I just don't believe that the Browns could run the ball on the Bengals, even if the Bengals is like not, because we was talking about how trash the Bengals defense was. And it's gash worthy. They about to run up and down. I said, come on now, bro, come on. Then they talked about, hey, the Bengals tried not to show anything in preseason. As a matter of fact, they didn't even do practices with other teams because they wanted to install a new defense. I just didn't see the run game. I think you can say you want to run the ball. That sounds all good, fine and dandy. But you actually have to do it.
No, I think that – so coming into this season, the reason I was optimistic about it is because I thought about the Jaguars in 2017. I said the defense was phenomenal. That's when they had Jalen, A.J. Bouye, and all them people. Like, it was great. But they had just drafted Leonard Fournette. And Leonard Fournette was – I want to say they might have led the league in rushing that year. But they was able to run the ball. So they was controlled the ball on offense and then played great defense. We got to figure that recipe. We need to go that recipe. If we can't run the ball, like we can't control the game,
Right.
that's going to be a problem because now we got to throw the ball 40 times
Yeah.
to try to get back. And that's Joe Flacco's bound
Yeah.
to give you 2 interceptions.
I wonder what you guys think about.
I just saw a stat real quick. Sorry to cut you off,
Yeah,
Cole,
go
but
ahead.
this actually applies right to the topic we're considering. According to Next Gen Stats, Dylan Sampson, who had 12 carries, did not get a single rushing attempt against an 8-man box in week 1. So that 2 yards per carry was not against loaded fronts. It was against 6 indoors, 7-man fronts, which is your base,
that's terrible.
or soft fronts. So when you're choosing, is this an offensive line issue, a running back issue?
Yeah.
This was not Cincinnati loading up the box.
No,
Just wanna
well,
point that
listen,
out.
first of all, it's too small a sample size to base it on one game, especially when it comes to Dylan Sampson. But I wonder what you guys think, Dustin and Tyvus, because we talked about this really briefly yesterday. And I never really thought about this before. When you have a quarterback in this NFL, like it used to not matter because there were a lot of quarterbacks like this, but in the current NFL, where almost every quarterback at least has some ability to run, right? Every quarterback can move, almost everyone. Joe Flacco, complete statue in the pocket, right? That one run he had for like 3 yards, it looked like he was running 20 yards. He was like, he was running in place, it looked like. The fact that he can't move at all at his age, not that he was ever much of a mover, younger, does that hurt the running game at all?
Yeah.
When there's no threat, like doesn't
there's no question,
right?
Especially this day and age with the way that football is. I mean, high school football, college football, almost at every level, you have some sort of an athlete at the quarterback position.
Right.
It's just there's not many of those. Like even Arch Manning's really athletic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be the top pick. So like when you've got a quarterback who's a statue like Flacco sitting back there, kind of a sit and duck at times. So you really need to have an offensive line that can be stout. Because when there's no threat of that quarterback taking off. What do you? I mean, like think about, for example, you watched that Ravens-Bills game the other night. Both those quarterbacks, every time that the ball was in their hands, which is every snap, they're a threat.
Yeah,
that's right. It makes a huge difference.
Which is, by the way, I don't know why the hell the Ravens punted it.
I wouldn't put that. You got Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Like Dustin said, one of the things that as a defensive lineman, so when you count numbers and you see people in the box, you can even have a bigger advantage because when they run stretch action away from you as a defensive end, you have to stay. You can't just run down the line of scrimmage. They can hold you in place because they can boot out and it's wide open. So that's why Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson are so lethal because even, at that defensive end, it basically takes your backside out of the play. And if they catch you running down the line of scrimmage, you already know what's coming next. It's either the read option, the boot the other way, the zone read plays, all of those things play into it. So essentially, if you're the backside in, I'm not playing Joe Flacco. If he want to boot and throw a little 2-yard pass, cool. I'm running down the line of scrimmage. I'm tackling.
Yeah, that's a big advantage.
Yeah.
What do you say, Tyvus?
I mean, I agree with the fact that the mobile quarterback, obviously on play actions and all those things, always pose a threat because it makes that DN hold up. So, yeah, you want Joe Flacco to be more mobile. He can't be. I mean, I'm crashing down. On all play action, anything, I'm crashing down on the running back because even if I crash down on the running back and realize he don't got it, I can still get to Joe Flacco.